The world of truly wireless IEMs is really diverse. There's a lot of options out there, and they all pretty much fall in line with this, in the same kind of quality and category of each other. They don't really, none of them really stand out that much, but the ones that do stand out can be really, really surprising, and this is one that is very surprising for me. I'm really excited to talk about these because I've heard a lot about them through the grapevine, especially in the gaming community, and man, this was kind of a pleasure. Today we're talking about these tiny little guys right here. This is the Soundcore VR P10. Let's dig in. Here it is. It's a little pill. Look at that little pill go. Whoa. But inside, there they are. The Soundcores P10s, VR P10s. A truly wireless IEM or earbud. They got a little LED out there for you for some extra fun and swank. Nice colorful accents. Very nice, small, smooth little case. I like the case a lot. It's elegant. It's very futuristic. The way it opens is very nice. And man, there's a lot of really, really cool things happening here. But let's take a minute to look at the build of these really quick because they're built extremely well. And man, they're so freaking... They're just cool. Look at that. These little LEDs here, they're not just for show. They also serve some purpose. They can indicate to you kind of your battery life, the status of whatever the setting is on your IEM at that moment. And through the app, you can actually change the color of the LEDs, both on the drivers and on the case. So that's just super cool and gamery and, you know, maybe not particularly useful, but just cool. I dig it. I love it. And just look at that. What a cool package. And inside here, there's one more thing that we're going to talk about. We'll get to that a little bit later. But first, let's just get the point across. These fit in this thing perfectly. Very clicky magnets. They're strong magnets. It's not really going to fall out. I'm not worried about losing everything in here. Should the case open by accident, I'm not worried about them falling out. They hold in there really good, and they're so easy to get out. We complained before about how difficult the Engine 4s were to get out of their case. No. These freaking P10s are so... Oh man, they're just all around so much easier to use and to work with and to everything. Everything about these is so easy. The pairing process, the EQing, the app, using them with both consoles and your phone, Bluetooth devices, whatever. They're an absolute blast in terms of how they connect to your devices and just the overall build quality. This is all plastic, but it is very high quality plastic. I mean, it is robust. It has a beautiful look to it. I really, really like the designs, and the shape is excellent. These fit into my ears with perfect ease. You just kind of, you put them in, give them a little twist, immediate sound isolation. I mean, everything just went completely quiet. I can't hear anything anymore, with maybe the exception of my heartbeat a little bit. But yeah, they fit great, and I can wear these for hours. I have. I usually, I actually wear these on planes to listen to my music or play games or whatever, and they isolate perfectly fine. They are not noise canceling. Make sure you understand that distinction. They're not noise canceling, but they do have very good sound isolation, passive sound isolation. But yeah, these fit great, and they're really pretty flippin' comfortable. I mean, for an IEM, coming from me, that means something. But really, I've worn these for hours without any fatigue at all. Even with the default silicone little nubs here, they're fine. They're totally fine. I haven't had any desire to replace them, even with memory foam nubs. They're great. They totally serve the purpose. I'm so happy with the way that these fit. These are now one of the best fitting and feeling IEMs that I own in general. And that's saying something, because man, do I got some crazy stuff. Let's take another quick look here at the nubs, just so you can see them for yourself. They are just a simple peel off and replace silicone nub. So if you really wanted to, you could very easily just snap on whatever nubs you want. If you want to do memory foam, you can do that with ease. Easy, easy peasy. They have a really excellent battery life. I've never... Man, I can't even remember the last time I charged these things. They last forever. The little carrying case that they come with gives you an extra amount of charging power, and I've had these last hours and hours and hours in real-time usage. Not just standby, real-time usage for hours, and they are totally fine. So battery life on these is excellent. I don't have the actual numbers, but I'll put them right there if you really need to have the true numbers of the battery and the life and the charge and all that. So there's that. So what else? Let's talk about this cool little feature, because this is where these kind of stand out a little bit from other IEMs, especially other kind of gaming-centric IEMs, and that is this little guy right there. These can connect Bluetooth, and it's a very easy process to do so. But with this little dude, this opens up possibilities all over the place. It's a simple little USB-C dongle with a USB-C pass-through. And what this allows you to do is connect your IEMs to devices that would otherwise maybe not be able to accept a Bluetooth signal, or could better benefit from a different kind of signal instead of Bluetooth. Primarily, obviously, it's in the name, VR, so these are kind of centered on the idea of using these with a VR headset. And that's what the pass-through is for. So when you connect this to a VR headset, you are still able to power straight through it and benefit from having your very cool IEMs while also being able to keep your system charged. Let me take a moment here really quick to show you how I use it. So here's my big, ridiculous Quest 2 here that I've just outfitted like crazy. And normally it has to have this little cable plugged into the side here to keep it powered through the power bank back here. But with the dongle, I can take that out, pop that dongle in there like so. So now my IEMs will connect to the actual headset, and then the cable to power it can stay right there. Boom, right into the pass-through. Look at that. I mean, it's like, it's a perfect fit. It looks like it belongs as part of the Quest ecosystem. It's excellent. But I also have used this on my PlayStation 5 and other consoles, and it's great. It works great, and it has a great range. I'm able to listen to with the dongle. Off the PS5, I was able to still listen to it even way out into the very, very back of my backyard. And I mean, I'm never really far away from the headset when it's connected to the headset, but the range is great. The signal quality is great. I hardly ever had any drop off in sound. And just look at that. What a cool little feature. They didn't have to do that, but they did. And I really appreciate that they did, because how flippin' cool. So these things are feature packed. I mean, majorly. And I love that about them. They are very, very futuristic. And maybe that's a little silly, but I just dig them. Look at them. Look at the way they sit in there. The whole package is so cool to me. And the ease of use is what I think really, really impressed me maybe the most. Out of everything else these IEMs can do, the ease of use is an understatement. Not only is the case very, a good size, it's smooth, it's small, it's elegant. The way they fit in there is great. Everything is magnetized. Nothing's gonna fall out. Not even the little dongle. The little dongle, which sits right back there in the very top part of the case, it's also magnetized on there. It's not gonna fall out. It's just great. It's great. And using the included app gives you more options. I'm gonna show you right here on some pictures of what the app is like. So here's what it looks like, and in the app you're able to do all sorts of cool things. So obviously you could keep track of the device itself and its battery life, but you're also able to go in with your EQs, of course, and there's quite a good number, a good variety, a good selection of available EQ presets. Now, many of the EQs did have a tendency to alter the sound a little bit too artificially, so I don't recommend all of these EQs that are available on this thing, but the ones that are there that do work pretty well. I in particular pretty much exclusively stuck with the reduced bass preset. We'll talk a bit more about that when we get the sound, but a good number of presets, with also including the option to do custom EQs yourself. Here's what that looks like. It's a 8-point EQ, so you have 8 different points of EQ that you can move around and adjust. For whatever reason, it is limited to a range of 20 Hz to 7,000 Hz. Not entirely sure why they didn't go further than that. So that's a little disappointing, but you know what? It's all right. I'll let it pass. Also in the app, you can change the color, like I said, of your LEDs, both on the actual drivers themselves and on the case. It's just there for fun. Funsies. And not only can you change the color, but you can also change the behavior of it. You can have it breathe like a pulsing light, a solid light, or there's also a save battery option if you want to just have the light off and keep more battery life. That's also there. So you don't have to have the lights on, but if you want to have cool lights, you can have cool lights. So the app is actually really cool, and it's really easy to use, and it's very responsive. I'm pretty impressed with the app. I've tried different Bluetooth apps for different Bluetooth devices, many different apps. This is one of the ones I actually really like. Most of the apps I find to be really sluggish and don't offer much in terms of options, but this does a great job, and it's elegant and it's easy to use, and you just gotta tap a few times and you get what you need. So I actually genuinely really like the app, and I think it's a perfect pairing for the earbuds. Now we can talk about sound. So these are marketed as the wireless gaming earbud for gamers. So let that be the expectation. These are meant to game with. Now, does that mean you can't listen to music with them? No. You actually can listen to music pretty okay with these. The general sound signature is quite pleasant. It's very smooth, very relaxed, very warm. What is probably a very expected characteristic about the sound signature here is a tremendous amount of bass. Ooh boy, lots and lots of bass, and it's very hard hitting. It rumbles and growls, and while it can be a little veiling in terms of that mid-range, it can get in there a little bit. It doesn't linger, which is really nice. It's pretty quick, so even if it does rumble and boom, it'll very quickly get out of there and get out of the way. So yeah, it's a lot. It's, I would say, too much, but you can control that. And again, that's why I recommend going into the EQ and trying out some of those other presets or doing the custom EQ yourself, because for me, listening to them with that bass reduced preset got them to a point where it was really hard for me to really complain about how they sounded, because it sounded pretty darn good. There's not a whole lot of extension either way. There is a pretty clear cutoff point with the bass range and a very clear cutoff point with the treble range. So you're not getting a lot of bass extension or a lot of treble extension, but you are still getting very impactful bass. It does hit very hard and pretty low, just not sub-bass range. Your mid-range performance is fine. It is a little pushed back. Probably you get that sensation mostly because of how huge and cinematic the bass is, but the mid-range is still pretty good. And vocal performance was pleasant. It was very pleasant. It's a little warm, probably not too surprising, but nothing was sibilant, nothing was shouty, nothing was super distorted or sounded really artificial. It was just very relaxed, very warm, very smooth. So good, decent mid-range. The treble range is very clearly cut off, very rolled off. It's a pretty dark overall sound signature. These are dark headphones, so you're not getting a lot of that really fine treble detail, because a lot of that again just gets cut off. So that's where these kind of sit maybe in a little bit of a weird spot, because they're maybe not the best in terms of competitive gaming, because you're probably not going to be able to pick up too much in terms of those really, really high frequency note details, like really high pitch footsteps. But that's not to say that you're not going to get any, because I did game with these quite a bit, and I was able to get some footsteps in there I could make out and hear, and it did help out a little bit. And but even if you're not worried about it being competitive, the immersion and the overall cinematic experience with games was fabulous. It was... No, I kind of can't believe I'm going to say this. Oh god, I'm going to sound like a shill. Going VR with these, I have never felt as immersed in my VR than I have using these stupid little things. They did such an excellent job pairing with the VR, and they did such an excellent job with imaging and soundstage and giving you this spatial awareness and sound isolating, instrument separating imagery. It did such a good job. And not just in VR. You know, playing PS5 or even Switch games. I played some Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom with this. Oh my god, it's wonderful. It's lovely. I feel like I'm there in the forest with the birds flying around chirping at me. Oh my god. The imaging is superb. Excellent, excellent imaging, especially for a little wireless earbud, gaming earbud. Exquisitely good imaging. Not the best imaging I've ever heard, obviously, but still very, very good. And I think anyone's going to be very hard-pressed to desire really much more from a wireless IEM like this in terms of imaging and soundstage. It's not huge soundstage, it's not gigantic sounding, but it's nice, good, comfortable mid-range of soundstage. Plenty to give you this sense of space and air from what you're listening to. It does an excellent, excellent job. And coupling that space that you get, that sensation of space and distance with the bass performance and the still very acceptable mid-range performance, it's a very overall cinematic listening experience. I really, really like them. And that's, you know, I'm not a huge IEM guy in general. That's not to say I don't appreciate them. I absolutely do. And some IEMs sound absolutely freaking incredible. And wireless IEMs, I'm probably even a little bit more critical about. Dude, these rock. I dig these big time. You know, they might not be the best option for gaming or the best option for music, but I love everything that they do. And what they do overall, you take everything they do, put it all into one package, it's pretty damn impressive. It's not going to be the best at anything, but it's going to be really good at most things. And really good at most things in a little package like this for under $100. I believe these are $80 right now. Whew. Good stuff. I really like them. And they're, at the moment, obviously we've only really talked with about one other truly wireless IEM, but at the moment, these little gamer earbuds are the IEM to beat in terms of wireless IEMs. They're so cool, man. I feel like such a nerd, but yeah. The Soundcore VR P10s, excellent little freaking dudes. Excellent little dudes. Look at these dudes. I dig it. I dig it so much. Plenty of more fun stuff down the road, and as always, there will be links in the description for this and whatever else I feel is fitting for this particular video. So, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again very, very soon.